Okay, we're going to start looking at making our own teacher resources. And when we feel we're starting to get a little bit of confidence up in wanting to make our own resources, but we might still not be knowing where to start or how to start, and we might not have a lot of time either. This is the perfect one for you to start to create your own resources. This is also a really good one because it shouldn't take you a lot of time to set up. And we really want to be giving teachers back their time, so they're not spending hours and hours and hours creating resources. This one is really good as well because it flips your classroom around and allows students to start becoming creators of their own content. And we're also looking at starting to bring in and incorporate some of the elements of Apple's Everyone Can Create curriculum. So I'm going to take you through the 2 quizzes that I've got. I've got one that I've made for lower primary and one for upper primary. And I'll share the links for both of these keynotes so that you can take a copy and have a look and use them in your classroom. So I'll go through how they work and give you some answers for them as well, so you can see the different ways that students can answer these quizzes. All right, let's just jump over to Pages for a second and have a look at a bit of an old school or typical type quiz that we would give our students. So we just have questions typed up on a piece of paper, and we might print these out and then end up with 30 sheets of paper back again with all similar type of answers and responses given. The design of this worksheet is a little bit linear and boring. We can't always see how students have arrived at their answer or the working out, and it's not really interactive for them. We can always airdrop this quiz to students and they could complete it on their iPad, but we're still not getting to see how they're arriving at their answers. So the point of the keynote is to be able to start to see this with evidence through drawing and photo and video and even sound. So let's go back to Keynote and have a look at some of the questions and what we have to do in this quiz. So this is the invisible quiz, and it's very different to the typical type of type out a question and then students answer. You can see that there's not really anything on these slides. There's some placeholders here and that's about it. When I first airdropped this to students, they were like, oh, how do we answer it? How do we know what the answer is? There isn't anything typed for us to read and understand. This is the invisible quiz. Listen very carefully to each of the 10 questions before answering. You will be given some instructions on how to answer each of the questions. You might have to type the answer, draw the answer, take a photo of the answer, record some audio for the answer, create a video for the answer, or even use some shapes. If no direction is given, then it is up to you how you can answer the question. So what we're doing in that is giving students audio clues or audio questions for them to answer. They have to sit and listen very carefully to the question and then write out and complete the answer how it's been asked in the question. And what we're doing is not just testing math skills, but we're helping to develop basic ICT skills when they answer the questions, because they're going to answer them in all different ways. I won't take you through every question, but I'll show you some of the answers and how we get to them. So let's have a look at a few of the questions. What is 2 plus 3? Type your answer. So for this one, we just want students to type in an answer. And even though it's a quiz, we can still help guide students to add in a text box or how to add in a shape, especially when they're just learning what to do or how to use an iPad. So for this one, we're going to go to plus and shapes and text. And then the students can type their answer in. You can get them to practice changing the font, changing the size, and changing the color as well of their text if they want to. All right, let's listen to the next question. What is 5 minus 2? Draw your answer using the drawing tool. Okay, this is a really good one if you have an Apple Pencil. So go plus, media, and drawing. If the students need to listen to the question again, they'll have to tap done to get out of the drawing function. If I tap on the speaker, it's not going to let me play to listen back. So just let students know they have to get out of the drawing by tapping done to remove the blue drawing banner. What is 5 minus 2? And then they can draw their answer in. What is 7 plus 3? Use the record audio function to answer the question. Make sure you say the equation first before giving your answer. So this time we're incorporating some audio techniques and getting students to use their voice to answer rather than just write out the answer. 7 plus 3 equals 10. 7 plus 3 equals 10. Alright, let's jump ahead and look at some of these placeholders. Take a photo of something in your classroom that is a square shape. Now for this one, students are starting to use placeholders to take photos, and it's really good because we have tangible evidence that we can see students understand what is a square shape, and we can use all the objects within our classroom to help us with this quiz. So for this, students can click on the plus of the placeholder, tap on Take Photo or Video, find their object, and then take a photo. If students aren't happy with this photo, they can retake it by tapping Retake in the bottom left-hand corner. And then tap Use Photo in the bottom right when they're happy. And their photo should fill the space. Create a star with 8 points and colour it in purple. Now this is a bit of a tricky one for students because when they tap on plus and go to shapes, there isn't a star with 8 points, and that's what they're immediately looking for. They need to see that visual clue. So for this one, you might need to give them a little bit of help. So I tell them to find the star and resize it with the blue handler dots. And then colour it in by tapping on the paintbrush, Style, Fill, Colour, and choosing the right colour. Then we look at the different types of dots. So I ask them, what do those blue dots mean? And I normally would have gone over this in previous lessons with students. The blue dots are the handlers that resize the shape to make it bigger or smaller by dragging it in and out. And then I ask them, can they see any other dots on this shape? And they say yes, green ones. And I say, do you know what the green dots do? Most of them don't know to start off with. So first of all, I show them the one that's closest to the star, and we can pull it in and out to change the shape of the star. Then we look at the other green dot. If we tap and hold on the green dot and start dragging it around, you will see the points change in it, and it tells you the number of points. So this says points 8, which is what the question has asked for. So if I let go, I now have an 8-pointed star. You can let the students have a play around with it. They like to see what happens when they change the points and how many they can get onto their star. After they've had a little play around with the tool, because it's quite fun for them to use, ask them to go back and just put 8 points. Create a short video where you show how many centimetres there are on a ruler. Now this is quite an interesting one. If we go back to our Pages document, the last question says, how many centimetres on your ruler? And they just write in there 30. That's a little bit boring and not really interactive. This way we can see students explain their answer and show it with a video. So they can use their placeholder, tap plus, tap Take Photo or Video, swap it to video, pull their ruler out, and then they can explain with this video the amount of centimetres on their ruler. They can put their ruler out on their desk and then take a video to show how many centimetres is on their ruler. A typical ruler would have 30 centimetres. Some students might have a shorter ruler or a longer ruler, but as long as they're explaining what is on their ruler. Here is my ruler. It has 35 centimetres. When they're happy with that, they can tap Use Video in the bottom right-hand corner. And then you have a video with them explaining their answer to you. Here is my ruler. It has 35 centimetres. Okay, so here is a quiz that I've already completed. And you can see that we've got typing functions, drawing tool functions, writing out our equation, using shapes, colouring and resizing. The same again, using the same shape, colouring it and resizing it. Taking some photos, adding in a shape and changing how it looks, and then creating a video to answer a question. Say, this is my ruler and it has 30 centimetres. Now you've created a much more interactive and interesting quiz for students to answer. They get really excited when they have to run around the classroom and find different objects and take photos and take videos. It's really fun for them, and they don't just have to sit in front of a worksheet and use their pencil to write in all of the answers. Alright, here is the invisible quiz for upper primary students, and this is one that I've already completed, and I'll show you the different ways that I've attempted to answer some of these. So we've got some similar things like the other one, where we tap to listen to the question. What is 6 plus 4? Type your answer. So we've got typing. What is 10 plus 15? Can you type the equation and the answer? Now this one has asked us to type out the equation. There is actually an equation function that students can use within Keynote. If they tap on plus and you look right at the bottom, it says equation. At the top of the keyboard, you can see different maths functions that students can use. So I can type in 10. If I can't find something, I'm going to look on the top of my numbers. Tap, hold and drag down for plus.
10 plus 15 equals.
And then tap insert. And I can use my finger to make this equation larger. I've got some more drawing functions in here where I have to write out the equation and the answer. Let's have a look at this one. Can you show a half? Now the question just says, can you show a half? So students can do this any way they want. What I've done on this one is I've added in a diamond shape. Then I've used my drawing function and I've drawn over or coloured in half of the diamond and written it as a fraction. I've also used my plus record audio and recorded the answer in here. The area of the diamond that I have shaded in pink is 1/2. So then what we're doing is using lots of different functions to show that answer. Create a yellow circle and a purple circle, with the yellow circle being half the size of the purple. Now for this one, students can just put in circles and colour them in, and they might just try to resize to make one look bigger or smaller than the other or half the size. But when you tap and hold, it will tell you the circle and the amount of points there. So if I decide my circle is going to be 240 points, that means that this circle has to be exactly double or 480 points. So you can get students to play around with this and they can learn how to resize their shapes properly. This way they can create a circle that is exactly double the size. They might need to play around with it for a little bit until they get it exactly right. Can you show what a right angled triangle is? Extra points if you can say how many degrees is in the triangle. So to answer this question, I've put in a triangle shape or a right angled triangle. I've added on a square to show my right angled triangle. I've drawn over the top of it as well and also added in an audio answer. This is a right angled triangle. It has 90 degrees in it. Can you create me a pizza that has 8 slices? Now for this one, I've used quite a few different ICT techniques to explain how to get this. So I've put in a shape, so I've drawn in my 8 slices and also written in the number of slices on those slices, so 1 through to 8. I've tapped on this and tapped animate, and under build in, I've chose line drawing. What the line drawing does is remember the exact path that you've drawn from where you've started to where you finished, and it will animate in order for you. Then I've added in some audio using the record audio function. Here is my pizza with 8 slices. I've then gone into animate and build order, and I've made my drawing and my audio recording come on at the same time. So I've worked on the duration of my line drawing so it matches my audio timing. Can you create me a pizza that has 8 slices? Here is my pizza with 8 slices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now that's a really good visual way for us to see how students can answer a question. They're allowed to answer this question in any way they like, but this is really good to get them to explain, and you can see visually how they've got their 8 slices. Now questions 13 to 20 on these ones are taking photos and then taking videos. So let's have a listen to some of these and I'll show you the answers. Take a photo of something in your classroom that is a rectangle shape. Find 3 different objects and place them in size order from smallest to largest and take a photo. And you can see that students can just use anything out of their pencil case to answer this question. I've got an eraser, a little pen and a Sharpie to answer this question. Can you find an object in your classroom that has volume? Now, when you're doing this one, it's a good idea to help students be able to show this object properly. So let's go back to the blank quiz. Now here's my placeholder, and I'm in the photo mode now. Now students might want to go straight like this and take a photo. It's not really showing a lot here. They might put their cup down and take a photo like this, but again, it's going to roll away, so that can be quite difficult. So what you might want to do is show students how they can change the angle of the iPad to change the way or the look of their photo so that we can see the object is a cup and that it does have volume. Then they can take a photo. Tap Use Photo in the bottom right hand corner, and then it fills that space. Let's have a look at some of the video questions. Take a video showing how many millimeters are in 1 centimeter. This is my ruler. There are 10 millimeters in 1 centimeter, and this is indicated by the 10 little lines within the 1 centimeter from 0 to 1. Take a video and explain how to measure half of an object. So I use the placeholder, and I've just used some objects within the classroom to explain this. To find out the measurement of half an object, like this eraser here, I first need to find out how long it is, and I can do that by putting it against my ruler. I'll make sure it hits 0, and then see where it finishes, and it looks like it says about 11.5 centimeters. I can then halve 11.5 to figure out half the length of the eraser. And that's a great way for us to see what students do, and it gives us that evidence straight away, and we can use it to show parents as well students' understanding. Take a video and see if you can explain perimeter. You might want to use something like a book or even your pencil case to help you. To find out the perimeter of an object, I need to find out how long each of the lengths of the side of an object is. This is a square object, so I need to measure the top, the side, the bottom, and the other side, and add them up to find out how long the perimeter or outside of this object measures. Can you take a video and explain how many sides a circle has? This is a circular object, and unlike a triangle or a square, it doesn't have any corner points. Therefore, when you look around the outside, it only has one edge or one line. So how do we go about making a resource like this? Well, I'm going to go to my Keynote and tap plus in the top right hand corner. And I'm just going to choose basic white presentation. So I'm going to tap on the presentation title and tap delete. And all I need to do as the teacher is record myself explaining a question or asking a question by tapping on plus and tapping on record audio. At the bottom in the middle, tap record and say your question. What is 5 plus 2? Draw your answer using the drawing function tool. Tap stop, tap insert in the top right hand corner. Move my speaker by holding and dragging and just check what I've said there. What is 5 plus 2? Draw your answer using the drawing function tool. Then at the bottom left, I can tap on plus and choose blank and just keep repeating the process until I've asked all my questions. If you would like to add an image placeholder to your quiz as well, tap plus in the top right hand corner. Tap on shape. Decide if you want a box or a rounded rectangle. I normally like to use a rounded rectangle. Resize by using the blue handler dots. I'm going to find a camera and colour it in. So to make this into a placeholder, I need to take a screenshot of it. And on my iPad Pro, I'm going to press and hold on the top button and the top side button at the same time. Tap on that screenshot. Crop to the size I'd like it to be. And tap done in the top left-hand corner and save to photos. I'll then delete this shape. Tap plus in the top right hand corner. Tap media photo or video, recent. Find that placeholder. Tap on my image, tap on paintbrush, tap on image and set as placeholder. Students can now use this as a placeholder. Then I need to use the record audio function to ask a question. Find an object in the classroom that is a cube. Use the placeholder to take a photo of it. I can then keep going and make as many questions as I want. You can also make this quiz for any topic and any subject you want. It really creates something interactive and more interesting for students to complete, and also more interesting for you to mark. You have some great evidence to show parents of students learning. It gives you back your time when you create resources and get students up and doing things and interacting with their test instead of just writing it out with a pencil.